Welcome, Sven Peters, back from San Francisco here in Kiel. Happy about this and happy to have you here. And Sven will tell us something about the secret sauce of successful teams. Welcome, Sven.
Thank you, Sabine. Secret sauce of successful teams. So what is this secret sauce? So first about me. Can I get my slides? Thanks. I'm Sven. I work for a company called Atlassian. We're doing tools like Jira, Bitbucket, Confluence, Stride, Trello. And I don't know how to call me. I just call myself here a team advocate, whatever that means. I've been working with a lot of teams, and all this knowledge goes into this talk and what I've seen in other companies working for successful teams. And you know, some teams are in your company are successful, the others are doing also a great job, but are not as much as successful as those teams. So what really makes a difference? Actually, Google asked also this question to their teams. So, and they actually did an investigation, and they looked at their teams, and they looked which teams are the high-performance teams here in our organizations. So they looked, for example, at teams that are like Team A, that is very, very structured. A very, very structured team that has processes in place, that goes into a meeting. They know 5 minutes before the end of the meeting, they're wrapping up, they're taking down the task, they're meeting again next day. Very, very structured team. Team B, they also looked at teams like Team B. Very chaotic team. Their meetings runs always over. They meet in the town hall. They chat in the evening. So very, very chaotic team. Guess what? Google found that high-performance teams act like Team A or Team B. That's not the differentiator for high-performance teams. They looked very, very deeply into teams, and at the end, they found something. Those high-performance teams, you can say whatever you like in those high-performance teams, so you can speak freely in those teams. And also, importantly, people are listening. People are listening and respecting the opinion of the other team members. So this is really the secret sauce, the core of high-performance teams. They call it psychological safe place. It's a safe place where you can be yourself and you can act with your peers together. So this is the core, but we have identified some other things that make high-performance teams. For example, you need a clear structure in place. You need to share the same mindset. You need support from the rest of the organization to be high performance. You cannot do everything yourself. And you need a compelling direction. And these are actually the ingredients, and I want to talk about this in this talk about from high-performance teams. So let's just dive into it. We just have 35 minutes, so let's start right with creating a compelling direction. And we know that. I've been a team lead for some time, and it always looks like this. People come to you and ask you, hey, let's work on Project A. Project A is the most important project in this company. And then people come and say, no, it's Project B. You have to work on Project B. It's really driving our revenue through the roof. It's really great. And then people come and say, oh, we need to refactor our technical stack. It's a really old technical stack, so we need to refactor that. We need we have to refactor everything to microservices. All of a sudden, you have these different goals, and you don't know anymore what is really important. So instead of just putting out some different stuff, you actually should work and give your team just one goal. And we call that a North Star. So this is where the team is actually heading. And we are writing that down at Atlassian. We're writing that as a company-wide initiative. And we call it, this is our vision or our 2-year plan. Where do we want to be in 2 years? How do our software look like in 2 years? We imagine that and writing that down. And this is the vision for the whole company. And underneath that, we have themes. Themes are pretty stable things like we want to grow our Jira business. We want to do excellent support. So these are very, very stable things that stays over time. We also have to look at that. Under these themes, we define focus areas. And focus area are just 1-year efforts where we want to push a specific thing forward. Like 2 years ago, we had the effort of mobile. Mobile was a focus area for Atlassian, so we actually put together a mobile team. Before, we didn't have a mobile team at Atlassian. So we put together a real mobile team. We had marketing people from mobile. So we put everything together and pushed this effort forward. At the end, we released Jira Mobile and Confluence Mobile to the world. So this is focus areas. These are just areas. Of course, the rest of the business has to go on, but these are areas, if you are unclear what you want to work on, if you get somebody says, hey, project A is the most important, you say, no, it's a focus area that is important for this company right now. And of course, you should have measurements in place. You should measure your success. You should know what success looks like. And all these things, we call that a VTFM, Vision, Theme, Focus, Measurement. And this gives us a guiding light where we want to head. This gives us a direction where we want to go. So you might say, okay, we're doing this VTFM yearly, and it's a company-wide effort. Really, yearly? What's with Agile? Really, is that Agile? If we have yearly goals or yearly visions, what is that? Yearly photo? Things change along the way. That's true. Or company-wide. Well, I'm working on this small part. What is with my team? Where are the goals for my team? Of course, we're breaking that down for each team, and we're using a system called OKRs. OKRs are objectives on one side and key results on the other side. It's a system that also Google uses. It comes original from Intel. So you define your objectives and you define key results, how you want to reach that objective. So just giving an example. Objective could be a customer relation, should always have a customer relation. So view the project status on a mobile phone on Jira. This could be an objective that we want to reach. Then we give ourselves a key results. We want 1,000 daily users. This is our goal for that. And then also we are measuring. At the end of the quarter, we set our OKRs quarterly. We're measuring things. So we measure and we have 700 daily users at the end of the quarter. Well, 0.7, bam, the key result not reached. Which is not true. We set ourselves stretch goals. So 1,000 would be if everything works fine, if this is really just what we want to do, if we put all our effort in it, we can reach 1,000 users. But 700 users is okay. So if our score is between 0.7 and 1.0, it's great. If all our key results are at 1.0, our goals were not ambitious enough. So first, stretch goals. These OKRs are stretch goals. Then we do them quarterly. Quarterly gives the teams enough stability so they know what they work on, and also we can change that along the way. And then less is more. 2, 3 objectives, that's enough, really. People have other stuff also to do. There's stuff coming up. We also need room for that. So, and people need to focus on the goals. So 2, 3 objectives, way enough. And then make them transparent. Make those OKRs transparent so everyone can see that. This is from our internal Confluence instance. And I just put in search for OKR FY18. And I can see all the OKRs, the server team OKRs, the design team's OKRs, Confluence team. I can see all these OKRs and look into it to make sure my OKRs are aligned with the other team's OKR. So compelling direction. Let's work on a strong structure. Build a strong structure. I mean, you're here at DevOps Days, you want to build a strong structure, assemble a great team together. But to be honest, developers are a little bit different. We are different. We don't laugh about the same jokes like designers, for example. So for example, we tell ourselves the jokes, why do engineers confuse Halloween and Christmas? Any guess? Okay, Oct 31 equals Des 25. Okay, some laughters here, okay. Let's try that with a design joke. Comic Sans walks into a bar. The bartender says, "We don't serve your type here." A few designers here, great. Okay, great. So we don't laugh about the same jokes. We speak different languages. So designers speak their language and developers speak their language. And we have to somehow translate between those languages. And of course, I'm from Atlassian. So let's put Jira in between, so we can define in a design issue, put Jira, and then if the designers are ready, we take it over to development and develop it, right? No, not a good idea. I mean, it's like working in those environments where the programmer designers sit in different rooms and don't talk to each other and just with zero issues. No way, no way. As I said, we are at DevOps days. I don't have to tell you these. It's like shooting a movie and then putting the cameraman in a different room with the director or the actors. That's not working. We need to work together. That's why we build cross-functional teams. And it's not just that designers, ops, developers, sometimes analysts, and all sitting in one team. That doesn't mean your team is just hard like this. It can also be, okay, I don't need a tester this week. So we send the tester over to another team. So we can go from one team to another team if there's need for that. And also the designers. The designers, we have to have a common design all over our products. So also the designers are sitting in their own team. Maybe they work Monday, Tuesday in the design team, and then come back to their core team actually and implement that in their core team. Cross-functional teams, they're good for information flow, diversity of thought, because we got different thought from different directions. We're not all thinking the same way. And we got the same understanding. We know what we're building here. And actually, this means faster development and also stronger decisions. We're sure we have a common decision here. All the quality people, designers in one room. So this about cross-functional teams. How do we build a strong structure inside this cross-functional team? I'm a big fan of building some team routines, some stuff that occurs so the team bonds together. A while ago, a developer from Sweden joined our team in Australia, and he came in and said, hey, let's have a fika. And we said, what the hell is a fika? We don't know. Okay, let's try that out. So a fika is a Swedish word for having a coffee together. So let's just sit together and having a coffee. So the teams actually do sit together for 2 hours each week, come together, drinking coffee, talking about what's happening at work, maybe also not at work. So this is a time for the team to come together, to bond. This is very important that we build this psychological safety inside this team. What I also did is a routine with a team that is partly sitting here. We were doing conference video Fridays. So we were just meeting on Fridays afternoons, just before the weekend, sitting together, watching conference, learning together, and then at the end maybe chatting about what we just heard, what we think about it, can we use it, can we not use it. So we did that every Friday. But having routines also means like, it's getting a little bit boring, right? So we should also build in some refreshments, some new exciting things that is not happening each week. So what we do at Atlassian is we're stopping working on what we currently work, and we're organizing getting stuff done days. So really turn off email, turn off chat, and getting really stuff done for one day. Sitting in a meeting room. We don't work in our normal environment. We just reserve a meeting room for one day and sit there and get a specific task done that we always struggle with getting done. And also, the teams are taking time off. Each 6 weeks, the development teams are taking 1 week off for doing an innovation week. So just 1 week where the team works on stuff that they are passionate about, that has to do with the product, so they're trying stuff out, and a lot of stuff that is actually coming from Innovation Week, you're going to see later in the product, because it's just like, oh, this is really cool, this is working, we're trying this out, this is really working, so let's put it on the roadmap and put it in the products. This is coming out of Innovation Week. And also, if you want to build a strong team, and especially for fast-growing teams or for fast-growing organizations, is working on your welcoming culture. Working on the culture so new people feel just like embedded in the new team. And I've been joining a few companies, and it feels always like this. You know, the cool guys are already playing there, and you're staying at the sidelines, say, I want to play, but I don't know everything here. I don't know how things working. I don't know the processes. So what we do at Atlassian is we give every new employee, we give them a buddy, someone that actually helps those new people to get started, to get embedded. So they don't have to be in the team. Actually, they are mostly not in their original team. They're coming from other teams, and they're just helping with, okay, this is how you order lunch, and the design team meets every Tuesday for a beer outside if you want to join, or we're playing basketball if you want to join. So stuff like that to get embedded into the company is very, very important. What we also do is every new employee goes through a 90 days plan. So we're setting up a plan before the employee starts. It's 90 days, so the employee knows, the new hire knows what to expect in the first 90 days. It's not just like they have to start immediately on the project. It's like we're getting slowly. We don't expect high performance just from the start from you. After 90 days, you should be up to speed. So we're actually using Trello for that. We have this Trello boards where we put down all the lists that you have to do in your first weeks to better get started, who you have to meet, who you have to speak to. Take your time to get started and learn the basics of the company, learn the culture first, and then get started with your project. All right, so strong structure, very important. But you also need to give teams support. I mean, you can do a lot of stuff in your high-performance teams and you're very high-performant, but then run against walls of the organization. So also, this is very important for high-performance teams, that they get the support they need to be high-performance. So for example, if you want to start a new project and you're looking for information, you know there's something out there in the company, so where do you look? So first you're going to look at, are there some actually documents or spreadsheets laying around somewhere that I can grab and learn from? You schedule one-on-ones with people, you're scheduling meetings with a whole group to find out if this is a project you want to proceed or where's the information hiding. And then a lot of information is also hidden somewhere in emails. But these are all very locked systems. It's always actively. You have to actively look at the documents, see, can I find on which server is that? I have actively invite people. It's much easier if you can grab the information yourself. Like putting stuff in intranets and getting people get the information out there, or having public chat rooms where you can go in and start and look at the conversations, search through the history of the conversations. Now we are actually building an intranet kind of thing called Confluence, and we're using that heavily. And I'm meeting a lot of customers, and I look at their Confluence usage, and it looks a little bit like this. They have opened up their team space so they can see everything what the team is working on, the company information that is there, and then they can work on their personal pages. But what they lock down is mostly other projects. It can be dangerous that you see what other teams are doing, and other teams' goals. No, you can't see that. Decisions, locked down. Strategies, no, better not. But actually, this is the wrong way around. Everything should be open by default, and this is how we work. If you create a page, it's open. We don't close anything down. It's open. Of course, we have also a small area that is closed down, right? Because we're a public company, so not every information, HR information, is sensitive. So there are spaces that are closed down. But if you create a page, it's actually open by default from first time. So write down everything so people can search for it and find it. So for example, Stan Pittet here, he wrote down why we develop Bitbucket pipelines. Wrote a whole article about that to inform everyone about this new product, and also provided links to dive deeper into the development. And also, you can comment on those. So you can ask questions, like I asked, hey, is that available for our server customers too? And Stan said, no, unfortunately not. Everything is built on AWS and Docker containers, and it's not available for our server customers right now, so sorry for that. But you get clarification right away. You can ask the right people right away. And another thing, if you work like this, allow for corrections. Don't shut things down just that no one can edit it anymore. People are editing things heavily at Atlassian. If I write something, they correct my typos, they add more information to it. Or if they find a page that is outdated, they can have a banner there and say, hey, this page is outdated. By the way, here's the new page for it. So allow for corrections. We actually have a mantra for that, and it's called share it or it didn't happen. We are a distributed company. We are on different continents. So this is really important for us, that everything is in our intranet. Everything If it's not there, it really didn't happen. It has to be there. And this is also when you start, you get all the info. When you ask for information, it says, look it up. It's there somewhere. It's, of course, a lot of information, right? You have to find it. But actually, Don Brown, Atlassian veteran, wrote recently a blog post about EAC. That's our acronym for our internet, extranet@atlassian.com. EAC, or it didn't happen. Very important. And we share a lot of stuff. We share everything, actually everything. One of our company values is open company, no bullshit. But be careful with that. It can also go the wrong way. And I know some people are afraid of that. And it happens sometimes. For example, here someone wrote a bring your own device policy. And let's put it that way. This was a very, very strict policy that someone wrote down here and wanted to put in place. So as we are at Atlassian, we are very passionate and opinionated. So we had a very passionate discussion here about, is that the right thing? People wrote, if this happens, I'm not productive anymore. I can't check my emails at home anymore. So I just work from 9 to 5. That's fine. If that's what you want, that's fine. So very passionate discussion. This happens when you're open, when you do everything in the open. This happens. People are passionate and they want to discuss on it. But here at the end, the last comment, our founder Mike Cannon-Brooks jumped in and said, "Hey, we hear you. Maybe it's a little bit strict. We take it offline. We talk to people, and then we renew this policy." But the most important thing here is be constructive in your comments. So it's not just ranting. Also give clues how we can make it better. Play as a team. So this is another value that we have. And these values, open company, no bullshit, and play as a team, actually goes hand in hand. All right, so now you got easy access to information. Now you want to also people help you, right? So information, great, but you need also help from people sometimes because you can't do everything on your own. We actually have a culture of having service desks all over the place. So if you want to SSH access for a server, you just write a ticket here. So you just enter the ticket here, and 2 hours later, someone, an IT admin, cares about it and gives you SSH access. If you want to open source a software, it's really complicated. Who do you contact? Your manager, the legal department. Well, guess what? You just fill out a ticket, and everything is happening in the background. There's people taking care of that you can open source your software, probably come back to you, but you fill out the ticket. If you're traveling to the Amsterdam office and you need a bike, well, guess what? You fill out a service desk ticket, you're traveling to Amsterdam, and the bike is right for you there. So it's very easy to fill out service desk tickets. We make them discoverable so you can search for it, and it goes so far that also our facility management, there's a service desk for it, but this is a real world, so we have to help ourselves sometimes. So if the flush of the toilet didn't work, we have to put Jira ticket numbers on the toilet so people know that someone is working on it, and you can follow that ticket, you can watch it, and you know when you can go back to the bathroom, or same thing for the elevator, when you can leave the office. When the ticket is resolved, you can leave the office again because the elevator is working again. But that all this ticketing system means you have to wait for others. You put in your ticket, you wait for others. Actually, you should think about turning everything into a self-service. Do stuff yourself. For example, our legal department said, actually, if you need a legal contract review, do it yourself. You review a contract yourself. So if your contract at Atlassian is under 25K and you can answer all these questions here with no and press create, it's automatically approved by legal. You don't have to, not a lawyer or someone has to look at it. It's automatically approved. That speeds things up. Or if you need QA for testing your software, well, guess what? Do it yourself. Our developers, there was a long way to that, but they are testing the software themselves. So the software that they wrote, they're testing this themselves. Not another developer, the same developer testing the software. Works great, I know. Works great. So what we do is actually we do a QA kickoff with a QA person and the developer defining steps how to test this new software that is not created yet. And then at the end, we're doing a demo. So thing is tested, we're doing a demo with the QA, and the QA is looking at it and say, okay, everything is fine, or have you thought about this or that? This is our way to do stuff yourself. Shared mindset. build a shared mindset within your team. And importantly here is have a common team values, right? Have a common team value set. Actually, here are some of the Bitbucket engineering team values. Other engineering teams have different values, but these are the Bitbucket cloud engineering team values. So for example, code like this here, Boolean is true, return true. It's really bad code. Don't write crappy code. This is a value that actually the team has, and you know somebody comes to you, taps on your shoulder and say, hey, Sven, I know you can do that in just 2 hours if you hack something together. And say, yeah, I could, but hey, no. I know this will harm the code and I will never get back and make that correct. So, and we have this value, don't write crappy code. So this is an engineering value that the whole engineering team agreed on. The NASA, they have developed this cool ball pen, you know. They spend a lot of money developing this ball pen so the astronauts in space can write stuff on paper with this ball pen. Great, awesome, $1 million for this ball pen, great. Guess what the Russians did? They gave them a pencil. They gave the astronaut a pencil, right? So a value of it would be here like stay in touch with your users, who you develop it for. Stay in touch with those, another engineering value. Everyone knows that writing code that you get this feeling when you have written your awesome class. You know, it's a great class. It looks so good. And you're so happy. And you close your IDE. You open it again and say, oh, wow, I have to look at it again. It's so brilliant code. So brilliant. And then you go on vacation. And 1 month later, oh, I want to look at this brilliant code again. And you recognize that someone changed the code a little bit. And all of a sudden, it's not that awesome anymore. It's not the awesome class anymore because people adding stuff to it. And this happens. Nobody is doing it on purpose. But this really happens. But we have a value that says, leave it better than you found it. Leave the code better than you found it. So these are just a few examples of engineering values. The important thing is that you define a common set of values, so you have a shared mindset, right? So common set of values, the important thing is that you have to agree to your common set of values, that everyone says, this is how we work, right? This is how we work. So what do you do if you do things right, if you want to do things right? Well, you put processes in place. Strict QA processes, you know everything is going the right way. It's a great way to make sure things are done the right way. But this is not it. So if you want to do the right things, that doesn't help. Processes are actually getting in the way of stuff to do the right things. You need adaptability. Your team needs to adapt to new situations. So it's not like you have figured out how to work great. Things happen, things change. You need to adapt. And you're doing things your team way. And as I said in the beginning, there was this team A, team B. The team A did it that way. Team B did it the another way. Well, they both are high-performance teams. So help teams to do it their team way. But also there are some best practices, some guidance that you can give teams, because we actually looked at our teams last year, and some teams are doing some stuff, and that worked great for them, and we thought, why don't we share it with the rest of the organization? If that works great for that team, it may also work for other teams. So we collected all these things that those teams did and put it into a playbook for project teams. So we found 40 plays in that playbook and put it together. So for example, to just give you an example what a play could be, some teams have problems aligning leadership and project teams. So the leadership team didn't know what the project team is doing. So we found a play that helps with that, and we call it demo trust. So each week we invite the leadership team to attend a demo. So the leadership team knows where the project team is. They are happening regularly, they are open, so everyone can join, and you get honest feedback on stuff. So this is demo trust. And this is the play, how it looks like. So you can look like this here. So the most important thing is on there. We're giving people advice how to run this play, some guidance, some steps along the way. So you could play that play with your team. Another problem is that we solve with the play is what concept will work for your users. So how do you find out what concept is really working? You have 3 concepts in mind, and you want to find out which concept is working for your users. So we are doing a play called concept testing with that. So concept testing is you have built everything on paper prototypes, you put those on walls, you invite some bunch of users, explain on the paper prototypes what these steps, what are you doing. If you click here, the drop-down box, blah, blah, blah. And then you give your users some stickers. and they can go and say green or red, it's good or not good. So this is concept testing, another play in our team playbook. And we, as I said, we have more than 40 plays in our playbook, and these are just some of that. Some may be familiar, like brainstorming or stand-ups, but these are common practices that work for some teams and help them to get over a hurdle. And guess what? We thought this team playbook helped Atlassian teams really to overcome hurdles, to be better. We actually released that to the world on atlassian.com/team-playbook, team-playbook. You can go there, watch some plays, try it out with your team. Everything is for free. All right, so give your team a compelling direction, a North Star, a vision, maybe some goals like OKRs. Have a strong structure, build a cross-functional team, give them some rituals, but also don't forget some refreshments. Have supported context, give them a place where they can find information, where they can get help from the rest of the organization, and have a shared mindset, a common set of goals, a common set of values that you share in your team. Well, you might think, where do I start now? Where can I start from here? There was so much stuff, and I don't know even if my team is already high performance. Do I really need those stuff? It's really working for us. Also here we have something developed. We have a team health monitor. So you can measure the team health. So for project teams, that means we have 8 checkpoints for those where you can say, our team is there, maybe not. So for project teams, does the project team has a full-time owner? This is one checkpoint. Is the team balanced? Do we have a strong structured team? Do we have a shared understanding what we want to do? Do we have values and metrics in place how we measure success along the way and at the end? Can we actually provide an end-to-end demo? Can we show what we want to do? Can we show that to people in a demo? Can be on paper, doesn't have to be hacked or something, can be on paper. Do we have something where people can dive more into it? Do we have something where people can read more about the project so we don't have to repeat every time again what the project does? Have we figured out all dependencies? Do we know all dependencies? Or are we struggling with that? And the 8th point is, how's the velocity? How are we tracking? So these are the 8 checkpoints that we have developed for team health. And then we're actually doing team health check-ins. So we say red, we have to work on that. Yellow, it's okay. And green, yeah, we are on track. So we're measuring over time the team health. Sometimes it's improved. Sometimes it doesn't improve. Sometimes things get worse. That's fine. It's more important that you know where you are in the journey of becoming a high-performance team. Also, the team health monitor is part of the team playbook, so you can use that. All right, so me as Atlassian, how do you make a great team? So first, you need the right tools. Of course, you need the right tools. But I think more importantly is you need the right practices that goes along with the tools. It's not just the tool. It's the practices, how you use tools and how you work together with the team. And also important is you need the right people that are working in your high-performance team. You need a balanced team. You need people that have a shared mindset. So this is my recipe for having a great team. Thank you very much. The long genius is dead. Long live the team. Thank you. Any questions?
Can you order a bike to Kiel also?
Not yet, but I'm working on the service desk end
Great.
to do that.
Yeah, it was a really, really nice talk, and I would like to know, like, what is your take when I imagine that sometimes one of the clients from Atlassian, you go and they need like some consulting on the culture part, like they are not really integrated, or the leadership does not know what the teams do and stuff, and you show about the demo part. But what is the trickiest thing that you found when you went to a client? Just like a personal more thing.
When I go to a client and they want help on culture, well, that's a tricky thing. I think that's not our mission to do that. I think the company has to think about themselves, about what is their vision, what do they have, what wanted to achieve. And it's a journey, and some companies don't want to take that journey, and some companies do want to take that journey. So us as Atlassian, we can maybe just show how our culture works and what works for us. And that 100% doesn't work for every company all over the world. Netflix has a different culture than we have. Google has a different culture than we have, so things are different. I think they just have to, you just have to know what your culture is and where you want to head with that. I think that's the important thing here. Know what are your values that you live for, and live that culture. That would be my advice. All right.
So as said, it was really interesting. I would like to know how long Atlassian has been working to build such an amazing culture, system, structure, everything. Because I think it's a long way.
It's a journey that never ends, especially if you're on a high growth path like we are. Things are going wrong sometimes. But then it's important to take the turn. So what we did is, actually when we were around 50 people, we developed our values. We knew that our values were there. Everyone knew the values, but then new people came and they didn't really understand how things are working. So that was a sign for us to say, okay, we have to write it down so people can read it and understand it. And then constantly working on that we are true to our values. That was important for the in times of growth when new people are joining, coming from different cultures and want to implement that cultures within Atlassian. It doesn't work. That we stay true to our values. That was, I think, the most important stuff.
From the beginning.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, maybe one question from me. Are there things that just don't work, but you can't change them? Because it sounds like a little bit like paradise, what you explained.
Great. There are always things that don't work. There are political stuff also happening within Atlassian. Discussions, things that we get wrong, and we have to course correct. I think the important part is just to figure it out, to realize, there's something that doesn't feel really right here. We have to look at it again and then make the turn and correct stuff. Sometimes it's tough because, people like the way they work, and then we have to change it. But sometimes you have to make the call for that, for growth, culture purpose. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Sven.
Thank you.
What is your most important hashtag for doing DevOps? And don't say tools, please.
No.
No.
It's actually, no, it's better together.
Better together, yeah. Thank you.